To be talking about how we can use prior knowledge to help us to understand our reading. One way to do that is to use a KWL. You probably have used something like this in your classroom before. The K stands for know, the W, what you'd like to learn, and the L, what you've learned. So when we look at directions at the top of the page, it says fill in the blue boxes, the K and W, before you read, and the green boxes, L, after you read. So we're going to be reading a book about the solar system. I've gone through and I have created some things that I know about the solar system, and then what I want to know. What I'd like you to notice is that as we go across the row, the item that I know and the question about what I want to know are related. So if I said what I know is the solar system has planets, then my question could be, how many planets are there in our solar system? When I move down to the next row, I might know that planets rotate around the sun. So my question could be, why do planets rotate around the sun? When I'm activating my prior knowledge and thinking about what I know, I can tell you that we live on the planet Earth. And a question I might have, why haven't we found life on other planets? Or why do they think there isn't life on other planets? And down at the bottom, it says planets can be many different sizes. That's something that I know. And I'm asking the question, which planet is largest in our solar system? Okay, so when we look at the whole KWL, we look at the before reading sections, the K and the W. And now as we read, we're going to be thinking about the L part of our KWL. So as I read, I'm going to be thinking about these questions that I've asked, and I'm going to be looking for these answers within the text. So here is our book. It's called Our Solar System, written by Bruce D. Cooper, and this is from readingatoz.com. Introduction. Our solar system is made up of the Sun, 8 official planets, several dwarf planets, and hundreds of planetary satellites or moons. Already in that first sentence, I found the answer to one of my questions because I asked how many planets are in our solar system. So I can go back to my KWL, and it was actually my very first question. How many planets are there in our solar system? So I've typed the answer right here, and I also put a page number so that I could go back and check my text later. So I'm going to go ahead and read this book in another link to video, but I do want to show you how I've gone through the text and I've highlighted areas where I have found the answers to my questions. So another question I had asked was, which planet is the largest? And so I found the answer to that, Jupiter, the largest planet. And so when I filled out my KWL, my question was down here, which planet is largest? And I typed in Jupiter is the largest planet, and page 5. So I've gone through the text and I've highlighted all of those areas where I did find the answer to my questions. I am not reading only to find the answers to those questions. As I read, I'm also thinking about the other pieces of information I'm gathering, but I'm using my prior knowledge, what I already knew, to make connections to my new learning. The reason we do that is because it helps our brain to remember this new information. It gives our brain a very special place to put that information, and it will help us to remember it even after we're done reading. Recording what we've learned also helps us to store the information in our brain. So make sure that you're going back to that KWL as you read your own book today. So it says the most important difference between Earth and other planets is the abundance of liquid water. So again, I filled that out over here. We live on planet Earth. Why haven't we found life on other planets? And something the author suggests is that there is an abundance of liquid water on Earth. I have used quotation marks around my answer here. The reason I did that is because I used the author's exact words in my answer. Whenever you copy someone else's words, you need to give them quotation marks and make sure you cite or name the page that you found that information on. So be careful to give the author credit when you find an answer right from that text. Now, the last one, planets rotate around the sun. Why do planets rotate around the sun? When I read this book, it did not specifically address that question. Not every question that you ask will be answered within the text. Make sure that if you don't find something in the text that you write that it was not found in the book or not found in the text. And then if there was something that kind of answered your question but not really, but you think it applies, you can go ahead and write that down. In this book on page 13, it referred to something called gravitational pull. And when I used what I already knew about gravitational pull and what it said in the text, and I put those two things together, I think that the author kind of answered my question. So it says, why do planets rotate around the sun? And on page 13, they were talking about the moon, and they said something about gravitational pull. And I realized that I think that the sun has a gravitational pull, and that is why the planets rotate around. So I just wrote, I believe it's because of gravitational pull, and I put the page that I thought helped answer my question a little bit. This does tell me I should probably look for something, an answer to this in another piece of text or in another video that I may watch later. But it's important to note that it wasn't exactly found in the book, but there is some good information in there that might relate to my question. With your text this week, you are going to fill out the K and the W sections of your KWL before reading. Then you will go ahead and read the text and then come back and fill in your after reading column so that you can show what you learned from your reading. Like I said, if your question is not answered in the text, you can say this was not found in the book, and then you could give some information that's helpful, or you can just leave it at that. This was not found in the book. Be sure to watch the other video with the full reading of the text, Solar System.